The cameras began flashing the moment she stepped onto the red carpet, but what truly captured everyone's attention wasn't just the elegance of the dress or the unmistakable presence of one of the world's most famous supermodels. It was the subtle sparkle on her left hand, a simple ring that quietly confirmed what fans and media had been buzzing about for months. Gisele Bündchen, the Brazilian fashion icon who dominated runways and magazine covers for decades, had officially stepped into a brand new chapter of her life, and this red carpet moment made it impossible to ignore. Photographers leaned forward, lenses zooming in, flashes popping one after another as the supermodel paused briefly for the cameras. In the world of celebrity culture, every tiny detail gets analyzed, but this time the focus was immediate and unmistakable. There, resting gracefully on her finger, was the gold band that symbolized a quiet but powerful shift in the life of one of the most recognizable women on the planet. On a warm evening in Miami, surrounded by celebrities, photographers, and fashion insiders, Gisele Bündchen appeared calm, confident, and radiant. Wearing a shimmering silver gown that caught the light with every step, she looked every bit the global supermodel who once redefined the fashion industry. The dress flowed elegantly with her movements, reflecting flashes of camera light like tiny stars scattered across the fabric. Her hair was styled in a sleek, sophisticated ponytail, her makeup natural yet luminous, and her posture carried the same graceful confidence that once dominated runways in Paris, Milan, and New York. Yet this appearance carried a deeper significance. For the first time since her quiet marriage to Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor Joaquim Valente, she was publicly showing the symbol of that union, her wedding ring. The gold band itself was understated, elegant, and surprisingly simple for someone whose career has been surrounded by luxury and high fashion. There were no massive diamonds, no elaborate gemstones designed to command attention. Instead, the ring reflected something far more personal, a quiet elegance, a sense of calm, and a message that this new chapter in her life was about authenticity rather than extravagance. But that simplicity seemed intentional. It reflected the life Gisele appears to be building now, a life that values authenticity, family, and peace over spectacle. After decades of flashing cameras, global fame, and intense public scrutiny, the supermodel seems to be embracing something different: balance. And while the event itself was glamorous, the story behind that ring goes back several years, long before anyone suspected the two would become one of the most talked about couples in celebrity news. To understand why this moment captured so much attention, you have to understand who Gisele Bündchen is and what she represents in the world of fashion and celebrity culture. Born on July 20th, 1980 in Brazil, Gisele grew up in a small rural town far removed from the international runways she would one day dominate. Life there was simple. Her family lived modestly, surrounded by farmland, community traditions, and strong family values. She was one of 6 sisters, raised in a household that emphasized discipline, kindness, and hard work. Growing up, Gisele never imagined she would become a global icon. As a teenager, she was far more interested in sports than fashion. She was tall, athletic, and energetic, which made volleyball one of her biggest passions. In fact, for a long time, she dreamed of becoming a professional volleyball player. She spent hours practicing, competing with friends, and imagining a future in sports rather than modeling. But life has a strange way of redirecting our paths. When Gisele was just 14 years old, she traveled to Sao Paulo with a group of classmates on a school trip. It was meant to be a simple outing, sightseeing, shopping, and enjoying the excitement of one of Brazil's largest cities. During that trip, she stopped at a fast food restaurant with her friends, and that's when everything changed. A modeling scout happened to notice her sitting there. Tall, confident, with striking features that immediately stood out. He approached her and asked if she had ever considered modeling. At first, the idea seemed almost unbelievable. She had never seen herself that way. But curiosity led her to participate in a modeling competition soon after. What started as a simple experiment quickly revealed something remarkable. Judges and scouts saw potential in her that she hadn't yet recognized in herself. Her natural walk, confident posture, and expressive face made her stand out immediately. Within a short time, she began attracting attention from modeling agencies. By the late 1990s, Gisele Bündchen was beginning to emerge as one of the most exciting new faces in fashion, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect. At that time, the fashion industry was going through a transformation. The extremely thin, heroin-chic aesthetic that had dominated the early 1990s was beginning to fade. Designers were looking for something fresh, something powerful, something energetic. Gisele delivered exactly that. She brought strength, vitality, and movement to the runway. Her walk was powerful yet graceful, commanding attention without appearing forced. Photographers loved the way she expressed emotion through subtle facial expressions, while designers admired the way clothing seemed to come alive when she wore it. Soon, she was walking for major fashion houses. Magazine covers began featuring her face. Campaigns from global brands began calling her name. Within just a few years, Gisele Bündchen wasn't just another model, she was becoming a phenomenon. By the early 2000s, she had reached a level of success that very few models ever achieve. She became one of the highest-paid models in the world, signing massive contracts with luxury brands, appearing in advertising campaigns across continents, and dominating runways from New York to Milan. Her influence was so powerful that many industry insiders credit her with helping revive the era of the supermodel. But beyond her beauty and professional success, people were drawn to her authenticity. Despite enormous fame, she maintained a down-to-earth personality and remained deeply connected to her Brazilian roots. Years later, when she began her relationship with NFL superstar Tom Brady, the world watched closely. Brady was already a legend in American football. As the quarterback of the New England Patriots, he had built a reputation for extraordinary discipline, competitive intensity, and unmatched success on the field. When the two began dating, their relationship quickly captured global attention. A supermodel and a sports icon, it seemed like the ultimate power couple. In 2009, they married in an intimate ceremony, beginning what many believed would be a lifelong partnership. Together, they built a family and created an image that seemed almost perfect. Their son Benjamin was born in 2009, followed by their daughter Vivian in 2012. Gisele often described motherhood as the most important role in her life. While she continued working in fashion and business, she gradually stepped back from the relentless pace of runway modeling to focus more on family life. But life in the spotlight can be complicated. Tom Brady's career continued far longer than most professional athletes. His dedication to football was legendary. Even as he approached his 40s, he remained determined to compete at the highest level. That dedication helped him win multiple championships and cement his status as one of the greatest athletes in sports history. But it also created challenges. The demands of professional football meant long seasons, intense training schedules, and constant travel. Gisele later expressed concerns about the toll the sport could take on Brady's health and their family life. Eventually, those challenges led to one of the most surprising celebrity divorces in recent memory. In October 2022, after 13 years of marriage, Gisele Bündchen and Tom Brady announced their divorce. Fans around the world were stunned, yet both handled the situation with remarkable grace and maturity. They emphasized their commitment to co-parenting their children and supporting each other as parents. After the divorce, Gisele began focusing on rebuilding her life in a different way. She spent more time in Miami, embracing a lifestyle centered around wellness, nature, and family. It was during this period that her connection with Joaquim Valente began to grow. Joaquim Valente came from a very different world than Hollywood or professional sports. He was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor known for his dedication to martial arts, discipline, and teaching. Along with his brothers, he operates the Valente Brothers Academy in Miami, a training center respected for its traditional approach to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Gisele first arrived there as a student. She wanted her children to learn self-defense and discipline, and she decided to train alongside them. Brazilian jiu-jitsu quickly became something she genuinely loved. She often spoke about how empowering it felt to learn techniques that relied on strategy and control rather than brute strength. At first, her relationship with Valente was purely professional, but over time, their friendship deepened. They shared Brazilian heritage, similar values about health and personal growth, and a mutual respect that gradually turned into something more meaningful. Eventually, their relationship evolved into a romantic partnership. Unlike many celebrity couples, however, they kept their romance extremely private. There were no flashy announcements, no dramatic headlines, just a quiet relationship growing behind the scenes. Eventually, they decided to take the next step. On December 3, 2025, Gisele Bündchen and Joaquim Valente married in a private ceremony in Surfside, Florida. The wedding was small and intimate. Only close family and trusted friends were invited. Not long after, they welcomed a baby boy together. For Gisele, it was another beautiful chapter in her life as a mother. And that's why the moment on the Miami red carpet felt so powerful. As she posed for photographs that evening, smiling calmly beneath the bright lights, the ring glimmered softly on her finger. It wasn't meant to steal the spotlight, but it did. Because it represented something far more meaningful than fashion. It represented a new beginning. Fans quickly reacted online. Many praised her strength and resilience. Others simply celebrated seeing her look happy and peaceful. For those who have followed her journey for decades, this moment felt symbolic, a reminder that even after global fame, personal heartbreak, and intense public scrutiny, life can still open the door to new happiness. Today, Gisele Bündchen continues balancing many roles: fashion icon, entrepreneur, environmental advocate, and devoted mother. Her journey from a small-town Brazilian teenager to one of the most influential figures in fashion history remains one of the most remarkable stories in the industry. And that simple gold ring shining beneath the red carpet lights served as a quiet but powerful reminder that every life, no matter how famous, continues to evolve. For Gisele Bündchen, this moment wasn't just about celebrity headlines. It was about love, resilience, and the courage to embrace a brand new chapter. And judging by the radiant confidence she carried that evening, it's a chapter she's stepping into with complete peace and happiness.